So I'll ask you to start with, because I've been talking a lot the last little bit. What are your thoughts on the movie Widows? Or do you want to explain what it's about for the audience?
Sure, I'll explain what it's about.
And tell your opinion after.
So there's these 4 women. They're married to a bunch of criminals, and they go on one last heist, and they're stealing the money. We don't know who it's from yet. They one of them gets shot. They go into the back of this van. They open the van to leave. They think they're going to escape. No, the SWAT team's there. They get shot up, and then the van explodes. They're all dead. Turns out the people... sorry, my bad. Fast track to the future. And you see the wives are mourning the deaths of their husband. Viola Davis's character... Veronica, wonderful name. That's one of my most favorite names, so just wanted to add that in there. So Viola Davis's character Veronica gets stopped by Brian Tyree Henya's character Jamal Manning, not to be confused with the Manning family. So what ends up happening? Sorry. My bad. I don't want to butcher this anymore for you guys, so I apologize for this. But so he comes to them. He's like, "You guys stole my money. Why'd your husband steal my money? You got 1 month to give me my money back." So Veronica gets Michelle Rodriguez's character, and then Elizabeth Debicki's character, Alice and Linda. They band together to try and steal from Colin Farrell's character, Jack Mulligan, who is this big shot ward representative.
He's an alderman.
He's an
They call them.
Oh, yes. And pretty much
their heist movie. They're trying to figure out how to take this money back. These non-career criminals trying to pull off the heist, and they're the only ones
biggest
with the balls
heist
to
yet.
do it. So, what are your initial thoughts?
This movie sucks. I give it a 5 out of 10. And my reason why is just a lot of the scenes just don't really make sense. I don't know why they were put in there. It's just way too long.
It's funny that you say that. Like, I also very much didn't like it. I have many reasons. I can look at plot, characters, and just the storytelling.
Characters' motivations as well.
Like. I've got a lot of confusing, and I'm left with more questions than I am answers. So I've got tons of questions that I want to unpack with you, because I'm curious to know what you think on some of these things. Because I feel if we put our minds together, maybe we can answer one of them.
I just want to give a quick mention and shout out to John Berthel, best actor in the world, one of my most favorite actors. So when I saw him in the movie, I got very excited because I'm like, okay, this is gonna be great.
Every time John Berthel's in a movie and I'm watching with Xavier like jumps up in his seat, like he's so excited, his eyes wide open. He like puts the popcorn down and he's like, "Let me see my boy John."
Yeah, he was only in it for about 2 minutes, and
that's probably being generous.
And then he was gone, so I was pissed off about that. But
so he's already biased against the movie because of that. But there are real legitimate reasons other than the bias of John Bernthal. I want to talk about, before I get into some of the questions, one of the things that I found really problematic with this movie, or where I want to start, is there are no good characters. And I really mean that, no good characters. And I'll start with the candidates. So there's two kind of stories. We've got, as Xavier said, this revenge or steal back money. So there's this heist aspect to it. But there's also a political thing between Jack Mulligan, Colin Farrell, and Jamal Manning, Brian Tyree Henry's characters. So both candidates are bad. Farrell's character, he's a corrupt businessman. Then you've got Henry's character, who he's a crime boss. Then you've got the religion character, right? The reverend is corrupt. He basically he'll endorse the candidate that pays him the most money. That's exactly what religion should be for, right, Xavier?
Yeah, 100%.
You have Liam Neeson's...
Who cares about morals?
Yeah. You have Liam Neeson's character, who betrays his own crew. You have Viola Davis's character, who threatens to turn in the other girls if they don't help her. The girls in general aren't good characters because they all know that their boyfriends or husbands are criminals, and yet they're still with them, and no problem with that. In fact, Viola Davis is always gives her husband a shot before a job to show that she's along with it.
They're so happy in love. It's just so beautiful.
Right?
A wonderful relationship.
Even the cops we see on the payroll. So you have a movie where you're not really, like, at least from my perspective, I'm not cheering for anyone. I just go, I hope everyone dies. Am I wrong on this? Is there anything you don't, like, agree with me on?
No, I don't think everybody should die, you know. Viola Davis's character, yeah, she has made some questionable decisions, but I don't know if she should die for
But do you not agree with my take? Maybe, is it a hot take? That I think
it's a little hot take.
But okay, so who do you see as the good character in this movie? Like, who do you look to and you're empathetic for, or you feel like, I'm rooting for you?
I wasn't rooting for anybody, but I really like Daniel Kaluuya's character.
He's like the worst of all of the characters in terms of motives and and actions in the movie. I like a good character, like a character you can root for, like a character you'd be like, if you had kids, you'd be like, kid, that's the kind of person you want to live up to.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then by all means, none of them are. Yeah, you cannot live up to anyone. Maybe. No, yeah, there's nobody.
All right. So the first question I want to ask is, why does Jamal Manning give Viola Davis's character Veronica a month to pay back the money? Or why do you think that, I should say?
Why do I think that? That's a good question.
Can I throw in first?
Yeah, go ahead, Suchi.
Because I'm very this question really angers me. Does Manny need this money?
Apparently not, because
what does he say he needs the money for? When he sees Viola Davis, what does he say he needs this money for? Why does he need the $2 million? You remember?
For his for the run, right?
For the campaign.
Yeah.
This will change his life. If there was no money, he does not win the campaign. That's what he says. When he finds out the money is missing, and when he tells Viola Davis, that's what he says. But he gives him a month. The election is over in a month. If you really needed the money, why would you give her an entire month?
And not to add, he was winning that entire... Like, he was only losing at the beginning of the movie, and then after that, he was just winning and winning.
I know. It's like, why do you need the money at the end? He made it seem like he needs the money for the election, but you don't. But he didn't need it. And moreover, he isn't portrayed as like a horrible person. His brother is. But he's supposed to be the understanding one. Don't touch her until the month is over, right? Like, all of these aspects. But...
He's his brother's like the hitman, crime, the crime lord, the young crazy one. It's good cop, bad cop.
So like, you agree with me? That makes no sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that doesn't make sense. One of my question is, what's the motive for Colin Farrell? Like, the entire arc with Colin Farrell with Jack Mulligan, like that. Went nowhere in the movie.
Oh, I have questions on Jack Mulligan. So my first question about Jack Mulligan is, do you think he wants to win the alderman role?
It doesn't look like it. We have him battling with... Like, the whole movie is pretty much... With Jack Mulligan's character, it's him battling... He's just fighting his family's birthright. So his family... The Mulligans have been in charge of Ward 7, I believe, is it? Ward 7 for generations, right? His grandfather, great-grandfather, his father... So now it's his turn to live up to take the family mantle, and he just, the entire time he talks about how much he hates it, and how much he resents his father, and how his father just ruined his life, and how much he loved his mother.
Okay, but at the beginning of the movie, it makes it seem like he does, because the first time we meet Jack Mulligan, he is talking to Jamal and saying, like, listen, you need to step down. You have no shot at beating me. I'm 11 points ahead in the poll. He also pays Harry to steal $2 million from the campaign.
Manning.
So if you didn't want to win, why are you stealing $2 million from his campaign?
I feel like that was just more the pressures from his father, right? But that's the movie was showing him battling those pressures.
Okay,
right?
but then in the end, the last time we see Colin Farrell's character, he goes back to Jamal and like, listen, you're gonna win this. All you gotta do is let me have the contracts. It's all yours. I don't want this. He goes to Manning and making him offers. He argues with his wife about not wanting to win. So does he want to win? Does he not want to win? He does contradicting actions throughout the entire movie.
100%. I agree with that.
The second question I have for you is: does his organization actually help young black women?
I feel like it doesn't. It's just more like a shade just to have it appear as if he's helping.
See,
them.
I thought that initially, but when we actually have Belle's character confront the business owner of the salon, she's like, he allows me at least to have some money and my name on something. So she seems to be all for it, which again kind of contradicts the aspect.
Yeah, it's a very slippery slope that this movie decided to go down. There's a lot of issues and political topics that this movie tries to tackle, and I don't think they tackle them well, if you ask me.
Another question I have for you is: why doesn't Viola Davis just sell the book to Manning for the $2 million? Or for the $5 million it's worth?
Well, her husband said that was the plan. Like, why did you not sell the plan? This was supposed to be the plan.
Remember, she's not a career criminal. She clearly knew it was worth the $5 million. We know she's supposed to get rid of it because even Neeson says it to her when they have their little reunion in the end. Why didn't you just sell the book? Everything would have been okay if you just sold the book like you were supposed to. So that gets me to: why does she keep it?
That's a very good question. I don't know why her decision to just be like, I wasn't quite sure what her job was in that movie.
Oh, that's my next question.
Because like her job seemed to pay pretty well, even though obviously.
You mean her actual job?
Teacher union. Yeah,
she was in the teachers union.
Yeah, she was in the teachers union. So she had a pretty good condo, and stuff like that. Living the dream in Chicago. And I'd say a little bit higher upper class. You saw that convertible.
Yeah, but don't forget, husband was a thief that stole a lot of money.
They still were a higher class, even though he was stealing. It wasn't legit money, but they were sinking somebody, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the reason why she decided to go, and I could not give you a good valid reason. It's not
smart.
The most regular people would not go into that life. I mean, if that was me, I'd be like,
But there's more.
I'm calling the cops.
And there's more to it than that, right? It's a 4-person job, so initially she's a person short. And she doesn't know the other 2 women. She's banking her entire future on 2 women that she doesn't even know.
Yeah, both of them could have just went, you know what, let me just be right back. Let me just go report this to Manning or Jack Mulligan.
Yeah, that'll get me my money. There you go. That'll get you right off. You're gonna blackmail me to come work for you, or you'll tell Manning. I'll just go to Manning and be like, listen, Veronica over there, she told me that there's a $5 million job in some kind of diary. How about I just tell you that? You leave me alone, and I'm good.
Yeah, why wouldn't they do that, right? I guess it was based upon loyalty, or like, we're in this together. For no reason, though. The way they were forced was through fear, right? And
my next question, because again, we're just the theme of I'm confused. I don't understand things. What does Viola Davis actually do for the plan?
Yeah, you see that pause there, because she actually, now when I really think about it, she's actually. She didn't get any, nothing. She didn't even help with the prep work.
No, she didn't do anything.
She just sat and yelled at them like, I told you to do this job and you didn't do it.
Alice?
If that was me, I would have been like, you know what? I'm taking the money and I'm backstabbing Viola at the end.
She threatens them into this and does nothing. Alice buys the guns. She buys the car. She figures out where this place actually is. Linda ends up finding the driver because Viola Davis's driver gets killed, and Belle runs around to case the place. Mm-hmm. So what does Viola Davis actually do?
I'm the brains of the operation.
No, not really. She just got them all together.
That is the. Oh man, but now when I really think about it, oh my goodness, that's great. This is gold. I love this movie more. I think you raised my opinion on this movie.
Really? How can you explain to me how I'm raising your opinion on it?
It's just so funny how none of that stuff makes sense. I love when movies don't make sense.
So Actually, before I continue with my questions, my brother has been asking me if this movie came out like 2 weeks ago, and my brother been asking me like every day since it came out, have you seen this movie? Because apparently it's supposed to be some gift from God. And last week we saw the Wreck-It Ralph, Creed, and Robin Hood, and he made fun of me for seeing all of those before Widow. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm glad I saw those before Widow because this movie was not very good. But the one thing I did like about this movie is part of my next question. I thought Jatembe's character, Daniel Kayula, he was the best. He was the best part of the show.
He was the best part of the movie.
Sadistic, ruthless gangster who he was by far the best.
I love those characters because he was very like sadistic and he was very cruel, but you didn't feel like he was overdoing it. Sometimes you always have that character that looks like, okay, this guy's trying too hard, but this character is just really funny. Like one of the scenes, the guy screws up because they got stole because he was in the booth. They're in like, why were they sitting?
No, they were. That's what their punishment. They were thrown in the box. For
oh,
punishment.
Okay.
So they were supposed to be guarding something, and when Harry and his crew stole the $2 million.
Oh, I thought they went there to rap. That's what.
No, they got thrown in there after.
And I was like, why do they rap in this little box?
They were just thrown in there until Jatembe gets there.
Okay, makes much more sense. This entire time of the movie, I'm like, why were they just rapping in a box? Like, who does that? You gotta guard your...
Well, who knows with this movie? They might have been there. Who knows?
So he pulls them out, and then the guy's like, oh, they told me you were rapping instead of guarding the money.
This is in the middle of a public gym.
Yeah. It's like, can you spit some bars? So the guy's rapping. It was pretty good, and the guy's like in his face, and I was like, why is he in his face like that? Because I thought it was weird. At that part of the movie, like that, he's like
go right in the face, like literally like this.
He's like
he's about to kiss him.
Yeah, he's like, whoa, what? What's that? Oh yeah,
it's good.
Oh yeah,
good, yeah.
And then all of a sudden he just pulls out a gun and just shoots him.
Right in the face. Whoa. Right in the face.
Then he tells the other guy to run, and then he just shoots him in the back.
Like after 5 steps, he shoots him right in the back.
I was like, okay, that was one of the great scenes. All the best scenes in this movie is all his scenes.
See, that one's good, but I think the other scene's better. So one of where where Liam Neeson's character gets all of his work is from some guy that works in a bowling alley who is paralyzed from the waist down. And when Jatembe gets in there, because he's been following Viola Davis around everywhere, he starts stabbing him in the legs so he can't feel it all. Just keeps stabbing him over and over and over again. He just throws his wheelchair, basically threatens to slit his throat if he doesn't tell them why Viola Davis was there. It was brutal. It was brutal. Like in a fantastic way. It's a character that had no redeeming qualities that you're not supposed to like.
Yeah, not supposed to like it all, but I ended up liking him. I always cheer on the bad guys in movies, so just to let everybody know.
So, I think we've done a good job showing you his sadistic ruthlessness, correct?
Yeah.
So my next question is, don't you think that when Jatembe after they've completed the job, they take the $5 million, the 4 ladies, they get in the van to leave, and Jatembe pulls a gun on them and tells them to get out, doesn't take their guns off them, just stays there and takes the van and leaves. Don't you think that goes against the character that they created, this ruthless, sadistic character, to let them just stand there and not shoot them all, or shoot at least 2 of them?
Excuse me about that. I had to stop a burp before that. But I'm just like, but I do think it was a little bit out of character. But I think the movie was trying to make a theme of the characters being underestimated, because that's what they're like. No one's gonna think we have the balls to do this heist, and like we're all just 4 widows. They don't think we're gonna do that. Plus, one of them was shot, so I don't think he thought much of them. I mean, but then again, he wouldn't want people talking, so I thought he probably would have killed them. Yeah. Now that I think about it,
he would just get for the sport of it.
Yeah, he could have just done it for the sport. Even like on a actual realistic point, I think he would have actually killed them just so they wouldn't talk. Mm-hmm. But he just let them go. Maybe he thought they were gonna get caught by the cops and they would get blamed for that murder. But honestly, that should have never have happened, because they got a car out of nowhere. We don't know whose car it is.
Next question: where did they get the car? Which one of them knew how to hotwire the car?
Because we never seen anybody prior to that movie. No one had told anyone that they had the skills to hotwire a car. And yeah, they hit the back of his car, and then Daniel's character dies.
Who apparently can't drive.
Yeah, he just does. He gets hit, and he's like, "Oh, it wasn't even that hard of a hit,
Nope.
right?" It was just like,
Nope.
"Oh, he could have totally moved, but he's just like, oh," and then just crashes into this barrier and just smashes his face off the steering wheel. I'm not gonna lie, that scene was disgusting. Like the way his face was splattered on that steering wheel, I was just like,
"Where's seatbelt, ladies and gentlemen?" Oh my god, no airbag, nothing. I don't. Again, where did I just so many holes in it. All right, I want to talk a little bit about Liam Neeson, Harry's character. So why did he turn on his crew? Because I've been trying to think about this for the last 4 days. Why did he turn on that crew?
Because he wants to get out. That life's not for him.
But why do you need to turn your crew to do that?
I have no idea. I don't know why he. I think. One of the things is one of his crew members he's having an affair with, and he has a baby with her. And I mean, like, maybe betray that guy? But what did the other guys do to you? Why do you have to kill the entire crew?
Or just take your money and leave with her, like,
or that too.
Like, I don't know. But here's the other thing. So he's working for Colin Farrell, and we get to see that Liam Neeson is alive on Colin Farrell's boat. That's how we know they're working together. Mm-hmm. Colin Farrell tells him that he owes him more money. Where did this come from? We were talking a little bit about this at the end of the movie, that we don't understand where this came from.
Yeah, we didn't know, and clearly he didn't need that much money because he was the one they were robbing, and he had the $5 million. So where was this money going? I have no idea. Yeah. Maybe he was just greedy and wanted more. Who knows?
So the second question deals with his son. So I think this is the worst aspect of the entire story. So his son was shot by a police officer. Now, initially, we even found out up until the point where we actually see the son get shot, is that Liam Neeson was responsible for the son's death. Yeah. That's how the movie made it up for. That Viola Davis couldn't forgive Liam Neeson for the son's death. Even though you don't see that at the beginning of the movie when they're together, at all. They look like they're a happy couple.
They looked very in love.
But apparently the police shot the son. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe because the son's a criminal, followed in the old man. Nope. You want to take this one?
No. So, yeah, pretty much what happened is, this is one of the political parts, is he gets pulled over, does a little Yui, and he's talking on the phone, and the cop's like...
With his dad?
Yeah, with his dad, and the cop's like, put your hand up, and he's kind of ignoring him, and he's like, put your hand up. He's like, don't worry, I gotta deal with this, Dad. He's kind of acting like a big shot businessman. Then he goes to go grab something. He's like, put your hand up. And then he goes to go grab something, gets shot and killed. And,
like 6 times by the police.
Yeah, and that's the end of the story. And Viola Davis's character, blames Liam Neeson for this, but I think has to do a lot more with the police officers, right?
Again, to my point where there's no real heroes in this movie.
Yeah.
But like this is not about a movie anymore. It would have been better if like there was something if the car was stolen and and that's why he was being pulled over, not because of him being black, right? Yeah. This is trying to make a statement about U.S. race relations than making a movie about 2 candidates running for office and a heist movie. Like, you're adding something that doesn't belong in your movie that's talked about for like second and never brought up again.
Yeah, it's I kind of feel like it was, if you're gonna make a movie about that, then you can do that. What was that one movie with the girl that had the voice? Let's see, she had that speech. What's that? That one movie we saw the preview of, the guy that got shot by the cops. It has
it's based on the book.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the name.
Like, at least that movie has the full.
Yeah, it's about that.
Right.
If the movie is about police brutality, good. Let's make the movie about it. Let's talk about it. But this movie didn't have that tone, and you're blaming Liam Neeson, who wasn't If Liam Neeson was a police officer that shot the kid, and you want to blame him, okay, now we're in a different boat. But this is a husband and wife who love each other, whose son was killed by racist cops, and now you're blaming the husband.
I know. It was very strange. I don't know why they. Yeah, the weird thing is it was never brought up again. Like they tried to add a lot of anti anti-establishment into that. Like we've had that a lot of movies. Their theme is anti the establishment. This one's anti-religion, anti-government, and
any institution.
Yeah, anti any institution.
Police.
Right?
Again, there's no good characters. There's nowhere to be like, oh, there's some hope here. No. All right. What about Linda?
Linda's character was. I don't know what to say about her. The only thing that she did was pretty much recruit the driver, and then that's about it.
Which, so, she's not friends with Belle.
Yeah.
Belle is, she meets Belle because she has a child, or two children, and Belle is like an Uber babysitter. Is that how that works?
Babysitting for Uber, I guess. Not for Uber,
she
but
calls a number and a certified babysitter comes to your house to watch your kids. So while Linda,
that'd be so sketchy. I'm just
know.
That concept is just scary.
Right? Don't even get me started on that concept. But so Linda goes while she's preparing for this heist, Belle's watching her children, and they have like no interaction in this movie. But at one point, Belle says that she's a driver, or she can drive, and
she needs money.
Or she needs money, sorry. And Linda asks her, "Can you drive?" And then Linda's like, "Oh, you're such a trustworthy character. Let me join you in on this $5 million heist without telling anybody about it."
Yeah, that was strange. A lot of the scenes in Linda, I feel like she wasn't needed. Like that one scene with her sitting with that guy who's the dead architect. Her husband, the scene where they just make out. Why was that added? That scene was not needed at all. It's just.
And at the end of the movie, she makes this $1 million plus $750,000 score, if not a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Why do you rebuy the store? Why don't you get out of the crappy area of Chicago that you're living in and go live somewhere nice?
I don't know. Some people love where they're living. Me, I probably would have. And plus, since you stole that, they know that money is stolen. Plus, they know one of the characters was murdered there, so I'm pretty sure that they're gonna get caught. Like, give it 5 months, all those characters are about to go to jail. To be honest.
And don't we know that, that the fact that Jatembe has been following these four women around, and Jatembe's dead, that maybe Jamal might realize that the four ladies had something to do with this.
That too.
Because they're brothers, right? Jamal and Jatembe are brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What did you make of the robbery scene?
The robbery scene was a lot more simpler than I thought it was gonna be. Like, it wasn't very. There was no tense part of it, right? The only tense part was when Jack Mulligan's father comes in. He's like, "What's going on here? You guys are stealing from me." And then Viola Davis takes off her mask for some strange reason. Keep your mask on. Why are you taking the mask?
Do we know who shot Tom?
I think it was Linda.
I don't know. It was I thought it was very hard to.
It was Linda, because the one character, I forget her name, Alice. He grabs the gun and she gets shot. So Viola's just standing there like, "What's going on here?" And
so once again, making her useless.
Linda. So I guess Linda wasn't totally useless, but.
But Viola Davis was.
Yeah, so Viola Davis literally did nothing to help them steal the money. She might as well just had her sit at home because she was not needed. She just carried a bag. So yeah, she gets shot, and then Jack Mulligan actually wins the election because of the death of his father. But they don't go into what happened. Like, Jack Mulligan has no closure. He accidentally wins. He wins the election, and they don't say what happens to him after that. Like, no closure, nothing like that. Literally, the last thing he says to his father is, "I'd be a lot more happier if you weren't alive. I can't wait for that to happen." Then his father gets murdered.
Probably happy? Would you say he's happy about that?
Maybe. Who knows? I guess that's what we have to assume now because we had no closure, but okay.
On the subject of Jack Mulligan, how useless was his wife in that movie?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Siobhan.
I didn't even realize that was his wife. I thought that was his assistant the whole time.
She followed him around everywhere and said like 3 words in the entire movie.
She just said in the back. She wouldn't. I'm like, that's his wife? I thought that was his
campaign
assistant.
manager?
Yeah,
so
campaign. Right.
Until they were actually talking in that whole car ride that you liked on the way back.
Yeah. That car ride, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. I just liked seeing the scene. I'm not gonna lie, I liked Colin Farrell's character because you could hear the emotion behind being that, and I'm like, he did a good job showing that emotion, but like that movie, it was wasted on that movie, you know.
Well, Colin Farrell's a great actor, and he once again showed it. But he's got the charisma, right? And if and again, this sounds bad, but he's probably the character I was most empathetic for. Like he didn't want to follow his dad in his dad's shoes. He didn't want to be a politician. He didn't want to take the family mantle on. He just wanted to live his life.
Yeah,
Whereas everyone else kind of seemed to be on their own selfish reasons. He was kind of the only one that was doing something for other people, right? His wife wanted to run for politics. His dad wanted to run for politics, so that's what he was doing. He wasn't necessarily doing it for himself.
yeah,
And
he
that's why
feels
he's
like
like,
he was forced into that role.
"Here, you win. Let me just take a back seat to you, just so I don't have to do it."
Yeah, and when we see that he wasn't, it's weird that he, but like you said, at the beginning he seems really interested into it, and near the end he's just like, yeah, never mind.
Just
I don't
poorly
care
written.
I don't care for it.
One more question, and then we'll talk. We'll go to our final thoughts and our ratings.
Hmm.
Do you think the movie would have been better if Liam Neeson was dead right off the bat? Maybe they got a different actor to play Harry, just someone not very big, and they just killed him off right away. Would it have been cleaner? Would it have been better?
I don't know. That gets rid of a lot of aspects in the movie. Gets rid of a lot of scenes. But I don't know. This still doesn't get rid of the motivations of Jack Mulligan's character. Well, the false motivations and the whole aspect of everybody else. So I feel like it wouldn't be better. It just stemmed from like just poor writing. So that's what it really pretty much what helped it. Right.
All right. What are your final thoughts?
Uh, I mean, if
And
you
then
want to
what's your
see
rating
it, see it once. 5 out of 10. It sucks. Go Patriots, yeah.
I would say this movie is about strong female characters and women empowerment, which has been a big theme in Hollywood over the last year or two. I don't think it was about strong story or character development. I think, as Xavier said, it's very anti-establishment and anti-government. And if you're into that kind of role, you're gonna like this movie. But overall, I would give it a 5 out of 10 as well. That's probably being more me being soft on it because I would more lean towards 4 or 5 than 5. But every movie's worth watching once, so go see it. And let us know if you agree with us. But I don't think it was very good.
No, same. It's a no thank you, but at least I watched it once, so I can say that. Maybe it'll get better, maybe, like if I'm drunk or something, but we'll see.
And maybe over time, like sometimes movies like that, maybe they're not good initially, but in a year or two, there's too many plot holes, and I think we did a really good job unpacking it
All
step
the
by step by
holes,
step,
yeah.
and we can see some of the plot holes that movie had. And if you don't have a good plot, not much hope for you.
Yeah, we don't care about it.
All right, well that's it for this week's movies that we saw.
Movies.